From day one, it wasn't about what we thought Matoso needed, it was what Matoso thought they needed.
Everyone knew that this was our first project. SCHAP hadn't been around for too long, only a couple months. A lot of people were just thinking, how are you going to go to Africa as 4 individuals who are fairly young and plan to do a lot of things with a small amount of money?
Every person I talked to told us how grateful they were for us to be there, and we're so excited that we were able to not only bring the development that we had brought with us, but just that we were there and that we were talking to them and that we were becoming friends with them.
We went there with a desire to be able to empower the people of Matoso. We did not have any alternative agendas, and that allowed us to be able to focus on empowerment methods that were best for them and not necessarily best for us. About a year ago, while I was traveling through Kenya, I stumbled across a village called Matoso. There I was exposed and became acquainted to many of the aspects of poverty and third world lifestyles that I'd only heard about before. While in Matoso, I investigated more into the causes of these disadvantages and the nature of their suffering. And I realized that there was a lot that I, as a 24-year-old American with very little credentials and very little money, could be able to do. Immediately I went to work with a friend of mine named Nelson to be able to better understand all the details in the village and the social and the economic and the medical and the technological reasons that areas like Matoso exist the way that they do. I developed a very strong desire to be able to go home and create an organization that would be able to come back and bring back measures that would be able to empower the people. So I came home to America and gathered some friends together and let them know what my goals and my intentions were. And I was blessed and lucky enough to be able to be surrounded by people that believed in the same things I believed in and wanted to support these causes. And we worked very, very hard to be able to raise money and develop certain types of strategies to be able to improve the quality of life in this village. And over the next several months, our organization developed and we prepared for our trip back to Matoso.
As soon as I came on board, we tried to open it up to a lot more people, and we tried to recruit more and more people to come a part of SCHAP. There were some wonderful people who jumped right on board and were able to lend their services to us as well. So the last month before we went to Africa was very exciting in every kind of way. There were so many things that we needed to do. We were trying to figure out, find out what were the most important things that we were going to do while we were there, and we needed to find out the details for those most important things.
So we really all just buckled down and figured out what we were going to do, and everybody else in SCHAP who not necessarily went to Africa, but everyone else helped out so much. It was a pretty big group effort just to make it happen in the last month. And right at the end, we're really excited. We restructured our trip in the end a little bit to make things work for everyone, including the people of Matoso. But it really ended up working out, and we got there, and once we were there, it just was perfect. So once we got there, we were all pretty excited just to get straight into working. So the next morning, we jumped right into it. We picked out what we were going to do, when we were going to do it.
We worked with them and worked with the community and got them involved so that they knew exactly what they needed to do to accomplish their goals.
A large majority of my time was spent planning with local leaders, sitting down and discussing what things we needed to get done and the best way to go about doing them and the best timing and who to be involved with those. We met with the contractors, we met with the regional political leaders, and we met with the elders of the community, and it seemed like we had meetings after meetings after meetings, and what we were able to do was just communicate to the community exactly what our objectives were there.
The project that I was in charge of while we were in Africa was the distribution of microloans. We decided before we went to Africa that we would have enough for 2 loans for boats. Since Matoso is right on the lake, boats are very important to the people to provide for their families.
So one of the things that we really wanted to focus on for the community center was bringing computers in the computer classes, and that's actually what everybody was most excited about out there. We got a couple laptops donated to us, used laptops, and we bought solar panels before we went out there that connected to battery packs. And my specific job, the biggest one on my trip, was I had to kind of train people how to use the computers.
Regarding health education, in this trip we decided to focus our energies towards oral hygiene. We believe that based upon our resources and our background, we were going to be able to have the most impact on this one aspect of health education.
One of the first things we noticed when we got there was there's trash all over the place. And that was a huge part of our project, that we wanted to develop some sort of landfill to get rid of that trash. And not just a trash landfill, but also a compost landfill.
Creating a community center was perhaps one of the most important pillars of our project. It became a central headquarters for us and a central headquarters for the community.
We started building the school right away, and we had hired 2 foremen there already, and they headed the project, and we had a bunch of volunteers.
The construction process was pretty intense. We all worked pretty hard. We tried to recruit as many volunteers as possible. We had a pretty strict time frame because we had to finish it, and it was really just quite an experience. It was a lot of fun. I grew up working construction, and so it was fun to be able to apply a lot of the things that I learned or utilized to be able to benefit the construction process. And it felt good just to get our hands dirty and put a good hard day's worth of work in.
There were really 2 parts to building the community center. We needed to build the foundation and the walls and the roof, but then we also needed to be able to have everything that we're actually going to be doing inside the community center.